too late. Ha!
Yes.
Live! Wahaha!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the further adventures of our intrepid crew, the Berezaya Argia. And after defeating... Sorry. I'm totally getting derailed in 2 seconds. That's beautiful.
I don't...
Although I love it how as soon as it went black on her screen, like 3 of us just went, like at the same time. It was...
Yeah.
That was beautiful. All right. Bringing it back. So where we kind of last left off is our crew was celebrating their victories over the now late dragon, Dracoskull. Because fuck the dragon. And a party was going to... And a party commenced as the town celebrated their victory and celebrated you all for saving their literal and proverbial bacon. And I don't want to dive into too much to what happened because I kind of want to see Ember's response on a few things. So we're going to actually start with Ember when you're ready.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm here.
So
I think I'm here.
Kind of going back a little bit, the since Dracoskull was defeated, truthfully enough, early in the day, after you guys had went to Dracoskull and Rashak's lair and retrieved the mountains of fucking gold and other monies, and returned back to the town and helped the town kind of finish off some stragglers and kind of reinforce and re-secure the town. Well, then it was pretty much party time. And we kind of assumed, at least in the broad strokes, that Ember and the Flaming Rabbits were pretty much rocking out hard. In terms of a grand scope of things that have happened, and we're pretty much rocking up all night long, with intermittent bouts of taking rest breaks to have sex with your wife.
Sure.
Because admittedly, there was probably a few times Tosh would have to drag you two off the stage before you got too far into things. Not so much because either one of you would give a fuck, but more to just give you a little privacy.
It's performative art.
Well, I'm sure as the night got more on, it was probably, and more drinking was involved, it was probably less of a concern. Because, But
that town got the best show of its fucking life.
I have no doubt. In fact, if you were to, for lack of a better term, what would if you were to do like a passive performance check, basically just take your modifier and add 10 to it, what would you get?
21.
Yeah. So yeah, you... Your group rocks, and in fact, a large majority of the town is pretty much there watching the rabbits for like the majority of the time, and it's like wrapping yourself up in a familiar blanket. Like it's just everything meshes. It's like you guys had not been apart. You just are all back in your performance rhythms, and it's just you're definitely in your zone, so to speak. At one point, there is a small ebb of people who do kind of leave as you're kind of nearing the end of one of your breaks to go see where, and you can see a little bit because you're on stage, that there is a Minotaur and that Barca and the Minotaur are in some sort of competition that involves headbutting, it looks like.
Oh, I would totally be up there doing some music for add intensity and possibly throw a bardic inspiration over to Barca.
And admittedly, Barca, the first round didn't go as well for Barca, but the next couple of rounds, Barca knocked the guy flat on his ass. Actually, the very last roll, Barca knocked the guy flat on his ass. Like, it was not even a contest. So that was kind of probably the biggest, other than the rabbits kind of playing and being kind of the focus for a lot of stuff. That was probably the biggest non-Flaming Rabbits event that drew kind of the crowd's attention for at least a little bit. And don't get me wrong, it's a big kind of party festival. People are in and out and whatever. But as the night is wearing down, I would like you to make a perception roll with disadvantage, because you're probably making out with your wife at this point. Okay. Admittedly, you and Kira have not seen each other for a bit, and there's that whole death hanging overhead. So living life to the fullest involves all sorts of distractions. So Amaya's drunken debauchery goes unnoticed.
She's stealthily being drunken?
You're busy doing things.
Would have been an 18.
You're busy doing things. There's a lot of people doing drunken revelry, and you've never seen Amaya without a shirt, so you wouldn't recognize her immediately.
Yeah, the rest of us missed it too, Ember. We're all very sad.
But that's
okay. Now I really want to, I made this song about this mysterious girl in the bar, and she was fucking amazing, and I never got her name, and she's the girl that got away. Oh my god. Yes! I just saw her in the distance. Admittedly, while I was kissing my wife.
So, admittedly, Ember, eventually the band quits playing, but it doesn't necessarily mean they quit partying, because then they're in their own personal party time. And so you're partying through till dawn. And in fact, you kind of get that moment of clarity in sort of the euphoric stupor of partying like it's 1999. You see the longboat actually is kind of sitting, down below, because Zaya was floating up above. Mm-hmm. So you encourage the rabbits to come up for breakfast and whatnot, and so the image is basically Tosh standing at the bow in his very Captain Morgan-esque pose.
Yep.
And kind of pointing the way. You and Kira pretty much making out in the bow, and Coop trying for dear life not to steer you into the hull of Zaya. But you do make it up there without too much issue, and when you do, you see actually everybody is kind of standing on the deck at the moment. You see Rhiannon and Gavin. I forget, Amaya, did you get up there before
I believe I was up before the Flaming Rabbits did.
Okay, so
I believe we were all up there when one of them shouted out, "What's up, bitches?"
That's right. Well, and actually, as the longboat kind of crests over the side, you hear Kira say that. Yeah, basically.
I have her up on my shoulders.
Nice.
Piggyback.
I dig it.
Piggyback or reverse piggyback? Because
I mean, they just swings a leg around and it's fine, and then swing a leg around again when you're tired. That's, regardless.
But she's a halfling?
Yeah. But you get up there and you see, like I said, the majority of the crew is on deck. I guess for the rest of you, how would you describe, I mean, they were all down, for the most part, they were all down and kind of partying. Nikali wasn't huge in the crowd, so kind of stayed up there, but even at times you saw Nikali, like, his feet hanging over the edge, sitting there talking to Lydia as they're kind of watching you play and whatnot, and kind of enjoying things.
He's a crowd watcher. I respect it.
But you do see, for the most part, the crew is on deck, except there's one specific person that seems to be missing. In fact, and it takes a moment because, again, you're coming off of all of the partying and the sex and the booze and the partying. But you realize, it takes a moment for you to kind of realize that Narashti is not among you.
Narashti, I got a trinket for you.
Rhiannon starts crying again.
Where the shit is Narashti?
Quick question. Has Barca again returned to the rest of the group? And if so, does he now have pants?
What?
Barca is not logged in at the moment.
No, Barca is still passed out.
No. Amaya had gotten
you brought him back.
That's
right.
Yeah. And brought it back.
So Barca is still passed out on the deck of the airship. Sans clothing.
Because I remember at one point he came into the kitchen area, sans pants, to just guzzle water.
Yes.
So I was wondering if this was like before that, after that. Has he gotten water left and come back with pants? Where is Barca in all of this?
We'll say this is sort of after that. Admittedly, Barca is still very hungover.
Barca, do you have pants on?
I probably haven't come topside quite yet.
Okay.
I'm probably still in the barrel of the ship after, concussions and drinking and whatnot.
That's fair.
Tar-induced concussions.
No shit. Come on, Narashti. It's a streamer.
So, Ember, you see Rhiannon starts crying.
I've run to her room.
Kind of before you get to that point, like Gavin is actually he's gonna stop you. Narashti's not here.
No.
And I apologize, this is the daylight savings time hangover. What was the name of her girlfriend?
Anya.
Anya? Okay. Anya, in the midst of the frivolity, decided that she was putting us all in danger and took off. And Narashti decided to go after her. She doesn't want our help, but she's been made aware that it is and will be given if she needs it.
Hold out the wand of sending to Ember.
I just walk downstairs and go to her room and knock on the door.
There's no response.
I
Although the
open
door
it.
kind of just sort of gently.
And I put the streamer down on the bed. And I walk out.
Okay.
Okay. All right, bitches, what are we doing?
That's a good
That's
question.
a great.
Rhiannon, do you want to go see if Barca is alive and wearing pants? He's
Okay.
way less likely to tear your face off.
That's probably true. Family meeting.
I think so, yeah.
Family meeting.
I will go down to Barca's room and poke my head in, and I'll knock first and poke my head in. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Riri.
Can you put some pants on and come upstairs? It's family meeting time.
Yep. Barca.
Does Barca need a hangover cure?
Sorry, I totally related to that.
Barca. This is Darren at 4:30 this morning. 4:30. Yeah, what Barca did not know what hangover is, but if it makes Barca feel better, yeah.
Okay, you put pants on. I'll meet you upstairs with something, okay? Okay.
Okay.
She kind of gives him scritches. I know Gavin had whipped up some hangover cures, so I'll run up to the galley and grab something for Barca.
And admittedly, Barca, you know your head is kind of aching, and as you put your hand to it, you feel like this goose egg of a lump come on your forehead, and realize it may not necessarily all be alcohol related.
I don't know if I had put those two together.
That's fair.
He's commonly waking up with random marks on himself.
Yeah, that's fair. So you then gather, or the crew gather the crew together, and
Yeah, once Barca gets topside, I'll hand him whatever nasty shit Gavin made me drink.
It's Malvolio's morning bonnet.
Barca, it's disgusting. Just drink it.
I mean, it's really not that bad if you just don't breathe in first.
Barca drinks it, slams it down. That was delicious.
Oh, yes, my buddy. You're the
Like mother's milk.
best.
That's what Malvolio used to say, but he had a drinking problem. Sorry, that whole thing, the Malvolio's morning bonnet, all of that comes from an old campaign that took place in Eberron. So the requisite hangover cure is really just a callback that like 4 people understand, but I don't care. It amuses me.
it's fair.
All good.
Anyway, so So once everybody's up on deck. So the question is, what do we do now? We've taken care of the Drakaskull problem. We've rescued Lyria. Barca has saved his mother. We've reunited the Flaming Rabbits with their lost member. I mean, at this point, I'm like, air pirates?
I mean, I am all for air pirates.
I feel like we've kind of addressed stuff for everyone other than Amaya. Does Amaya have anything she needs to take care of that we could help with?
I appreciate the offer, but my life threads have been pretty well tied off for some time now. I would not, however, mind a little bit of a return to normalcy. Perhaps see if there are any cargo runs that need be doing, or passenger trips that we could perform. Not that we really need the money, but something to do.
The recent, all of the airships being taken, I mean, airships are probably pretty rare and probably pretty needed at this point.
So here's my concern with that. With the airship thefts, and with the fact that this particular conflict, war, whatever the fuck this is, seems to be somewhat unprecedented in that dragon-marked houses are getting involved, my concern is that if we attempt to go to any port of call, is they may try to commandeer what they think is just another airship.
I mean, they can try.
And we also have different dragon-marked houses on one vessel.
I love that energy, Rhiannon, but also they're an entire, organization, and we're good. But even if we defeat one or two boarding parties, they're just going to keep sending people until
we're dead.
Anymore.
Well, and I get that, but that essentially means we can't be anywhere on Corvair. So if that's what you're saying, then where not on Corvair do you want to go, Gavin?
I'm just saying, we did promise to take Argentia home at some point.
That is true.
And Argentia is that way, and he points, but for Amaya, he points entirely in the wrong direction.
Amaya just kind of steps over to him,
he just
grabs his arm gently, and just moves his arm so it's pointing the right direction. And then just twice lightly pats him on the back and steps away again.
That way.
Love that.
Like I said.
Tia, are you ready to go home?
No, I'm good.
That's fair.
Right?
The other option
we finally made a decision! Hey, Tia, you want to go home? Maybe that should have been the first thing that we asked.
Well, when we first were all thrown together.
Okay, I'm also going to put this out there that there's still the whole, mass murdering of anybody with not a traditional dragon mark. And I would be under that category big time now.
I mean, all the more reason
Definitely.
to get out from underneath the influence of the dragon-marked houses.
Although the further away we are from all of that, the less information we can find on our own.
Well, I
don't
have
know if
connections. I have plenty of connections.
I don't know how actively we can really be working on that particular issue. More passive information gathering and getting our contacts to look for us and trying to find more. I wouldn't know where to go physically to start investigating widespread disappearances.
Well, Sharn would make the most sense, but...
The murder of aberrant dragon
Hang on, let the GM say something. 'cause
Admittedly, the persecution of those with aberrant dragon marks has been something going on for centuries. Because the War of the Mark
what Gavin was about to bring up.
Okay.
The War of the Mark
Sorry, babe.
happened like 1,500 years ago. So it's while yes, it is a concern, it's not one of those that necessarily is only a sudden occurrence.
Yeah, it's not
it's not a sudden, but it's very near and dear.
Oh no!
Or at least I would like to think.
Under no circumstances should we take it lightly by any stretch of the imagination. Well, so jumping back into character for Gavin.
We also have to avoid my family. I really don't want them finding out. They don't know.
Been persecuted for thousands of years. So while we definitely need to keep that in mind and avoid the major dragon marked houses, particularly Ember's family, I think investigating the roots of that would really be more of a history lesson than a lesson in justice. I still think Stormreach. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Mark is still not quite quick yet. Barca wonders if there's houses that are more mean when it comes to dragon mark people like Ember, and maybe we can just go fuck their shit up.
Oh, I like his approach.
Maybe send message to other houses that shit ain't cool, man.
I'm sitting here and I'm trying to temper Adam's reaction with how Gavin would react. Because Adam's reaction is, that is a fucking horrible idea. We don't need another War of the Mark on top of another continent-wide war.
I mean,
Give me a second.
It's the perfect strategy.
And there's Ember handing Barca the lit dynamite. Go for it, buddy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mark is sitting there with the gasoline, and Ember's like, this isn't a match, this is dynamite.
And remember to push out when you throw it. Just push out. More distance.
At that moment, Barca takes out the deck of many things. I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
Doesn't matter what we do. This is happening.
My heart literally skipped a beat.
And mine went, and then I went, wait, do we have one?
You don't know.
We have a mysterious deck of cards that we couldn't identify.
Right. We need to go to a place to identify shit.
So there's a number of things that I want to put out there. I think Stormreach might be the way to go, particularly if we're not going to Arganesson. One, yes, there is a Dragon March present there, but it's much less, and they hold a lot less power in Stormreach than they do on pretty much the entirety of Corvair. Two, there's a certain lawless element that will serve our purposes extremely well. Three, there's probably going to be pretty good work there. Four, if we want to get this shit identified, that might be a good place to do it.
Okay.
Well, I don't know about how well we'd be able to get it identified. Most of the magic there is
basic.
Some of the foremost archaeologists and arcane researchers in the world operate out of Stormreach because of its proximity to Jet Zendrick.
Would Barker be able to have weapon made there?
Probably more easily than he would be able to
Probably.
here.
What kind of weapon are you looking for, bud?
cool one with dragon teeth. Barca collected holds up these 2 dragon teeth that just carrying them around.
Like each one is as
Where the
long as
hell
like a
were
human
you
forearm.
storing those?
Well, and realize like the teeth he's holding up, they're like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
length of someone's arm, and are
Mhm.
probably as big around as my thigh, like at the widest.
He's
Where-
actually been
where-
sitting on
where-
the molar this whole time. He's like, I threw him here. Like they've been here, and there's a molar, and then there's like I don't know what incisor, the pointy one.
Do dragons have molars?
I was going to say, I contend that dragons don't have molars.
I don't think they have.
Right, because they're not omnivores. They're
Yeah,
I don't think
because
they're
they're
They got to get
carnivores.
through bone. You know, they got to have some mashers back there.
I suppose.
maybe
Unless they
You
eat
know-
like a duck and they just swallow everything whole.
like
Ooh.
do alligators have molars?
Mm-mm.
Alligators don't have.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then just 2 pointy teeth in a very uncomfortable sitting
One's
position.
slightly smaller than the other because it's further back in the mouth.
Right. Like the front ones I could see they're like the little and then like the big eye teeth.
I
just-
imagine it's probably somewhere
Or like sharks.
between maybe like a shark and like a dog or whatever, or a cat. Where I mean, yeah. You know.
I mean dogs still have molars.
I understand what you're saying, Gavin. I think if we're looking for potential magical weapons and identifying of magical things, I think we'll be able to find that far more readily in Sharn than we would in Stormreach.
So
I
I'm hearing
also-
what you're saying, but I was given to understand that criteria of what we're looking for is avoiding the dragon marked houses wherever possible. Sharn does not fit that criteria.
When did we decide that we were wholly avoiding dragon-marked houses?
Gestures vaguely at Ember.
We haven't avoided dragon-marked houses this whole time. I am an agent of a house. I have had a very big thing happen, and I need to report it, at the very least.
I also had a very big thing happen and I don't need it reported to the houses.
I don't say anything about your mark to the houses. That's not their business. It's yours.
Is Barca gonna get a mark?
It's entirely
I
possible,
don't know,
bud.
buddy.
I mean, I wasn't supposed to get anything.
How
I
do you
wasn't
get
even
marks?
supposed to exist.
You kind of just see Barca's head explode. Like
They just kind of happen, buddy.
It just happened.
Barca,
You
it is
don't-
extremely
you're not
unlikely
real?
that you will
It is the universe's cruel joke.
the universe tells jokes.
Yeah. The
Hardly
worst.
a lot of them. Most of them aren't funny.
Nope.
This is a lot for Barca to take in. I vote with
That's
Riri.
I suppose I should take this opportunity to put in one request of somewhere to go before anywhere else that I hope no one will have any objections to. We now find ourselves sitting on quite a large amount of wealth that we could do some particular things with. And we do have some of our crewmates who gave their all in defense of Zaya. I think it would be fitting repayment for their loyalty and good deeds to use some of that fund to perhaps bring them back. The goblins.
Okay.
I was with you.
Yeah. That will take us time. Because I can only do that once. I think once. Maybe twice.
If we went somewhere like Sharn, we could
True.
take them to House Jurassico. And I believe we have don't we have like a voucher or something from House Tarasco?
Yes. There's like a discount voucher.
Yeah.
The voucher.
It is a credit, I believe.
Buy 3 resurrections, get the 4th free.
No. But there is a.
Pretty much should be.
Okay, my raised dead, they can only be dead for 10 days.
It hasn't been 10 days yet.
Okay. Then I can do.
Take time.
I can do 3. Because it's a
no,
5th
we don't
level.
We don't have a House Tarasco. We've got Madani, Tharashk, Kalanda, and Kenneth.
Okay.
Either way. We could take them. But I can do 3 a day.
I mean, we could make our way to the Talenta Plains, which is where House Tarasco is based. And en route, you could do your...
How many goblins are we talking about bringing back?
So
we
We have
lost.
3 left alive?
No.
Oh, we've got more than that. I think 5 or 6 of them died ultimately.
Yeah,
though.
we lost like half of them.
5 of them died in the first attack of Dragon.
And I don't know which ones we can actually resurrect because what's
Didn't
left
we-
of them?
Didn't we bury some of them?
Yeah, we did bury.
Yeah.
Barca fed one of the corpses to Liddy.
Well,
Not
that
of our
was-
friend goblins.
That was before the current number.
I thought there was pieces of goblin that we didn't know what to do with, so Barca just started feeding them to Liddy, but I can't remember for sure.
I think Barker fed something to Liddy, but I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
I want to say it was like, yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's what I think it was like the Dragonoids that we'd been killing on the ship.
Yes.
We just had a bunch of those pieces.
Just had a swath of corpses.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because there were a lot of those that kind of died off camera.
I don't think, and I think one of them may have died during the battle with Dracoskull.
Yeah, there were a
Yes.
couple that died before we were reunited with Zaya, and then 1 or 2 that died in that
Yes.
battle.
So I need someone to roll an 8-sided, re-rolling an 8.
I will roll it. I'll roll
I
it in.
apparently did not know who had gotten hit, and I. didn't
Well,
raise
I
my-
know Wanda and Tulio are gone from my trio.
Well, I'm not talking about the 5 that we already rolled for. This is for the one that
I rolled a
died.
6.
So 11. Okay.
Oh no! 11? The only one.
The only one without a puntastic name.
But it was a. Yeah.
Because I admit I don't know where I put my mass battle notes. So So 11 unfortunately was the one to buy the farm during the fight with Dragoskull.
But it isn't fantastic, but it's referential, so we'll keep it.
Right.
Is your goal then to go search for the bodies of the ones that you buried out in the jungle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get their bodies and if we can do raised dead instead of one of the higher level ones that doesn't require it.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
I
say
can-
something that is going to make me sound very racist, and I apologize. No, you know what? We're not even going to go there. Never mind. Rhiannon withdraws her objection. I don't want to be that person. Mm-mm.
You should be the good kind of racist.
Yeah.
What?
I have so many conflicted feelings right now. So
Are you thinking, is it worth it to go raise dead some gobos?
okay, let me put some context behind this. You know how
Barca wants
You know
Riri
how,
to know
like-
this is a safe space.
appreciate it. You know how And like in real life, as a person, you have like your initial like gut reaction that's like whatever's been ingrained into you, and then like the thinking part of you is like, whoa, no. So that just happened to Rhiannon, where Rhiannon was like, they're just goblins. Whoa!
So you're saying that Rhiannon
Wow,
just suffered
we've
from intrusive
learned!
thoughts. Okay, that's a
Yes.
thing.
Dude, I never would have thought that we would have adopted 12 gobos to start. Let alone a fucking mimic.
12 and a third goblins.
So
True.
yes, let's go find the goblin bodies. It's not like we're hurting for money.
Context, the good kind of racist calls back to a video that College Humor did about in Lord of the Rings, the elves and dwarves and humans are the good racists because they hate goblins and orcs and
Yes.
the evil racists because they're icky. I was not being racist myself. I was making reference to a humorous video that calls out the bullshit that is kind of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Rhiannon has the whole moment of like, oh, I think I have some things to work on here.
Rhiannon catches herself about to suggest, can't we just find some other goblins and call them?
Right? Can't we just, they're just goblins, they're easy to find.
We
Just
have some
replace them.
institutionalized racism that we need to work on, guys. Let's go find our friends.
Find our friends.
You hear Tosh kind of speak up and it's like, well, if you're gonna go find your dead friends to resurrect, perhaps we have a little bit of breakfast first. And you see he's got like a towel holding like a frying pan and cooking.
I forgot how much I liked you.
I love you, Tosh.
It's like, we'll get food in your belly and hopefully it'll stay there. All right, let's go.
Let's go find our gobos.
So you have breakfast. The flaming rabbits will go back down into New Throne to help rebuild and stuff and get stuff set up because Kira is still kind of their primary healer at this point, as pretty much the only Jarasco halfling or modest spellcaster that they have. And there's still some healing to be done. So they do depart after breakfast, but you do have a nice, enjoyable breakfast. Plenty of eggs and some sausages and whatnot, which you have no idea where they got those from.
It does better not to ask. But
Don't ask.
But so suffice it to say, that after they cook breakfast and you have breakfast and kind of eat up, Ember, you're also informed that because Anya had decided to leave, Telemon and Solana did leave also. However, they and Gavin and Rhiannon and the rest of them kind of let you know, they went back to Sharn. If ever you need them, contact them. He also mentioned that he is still working on the magical device for Anya and let Narashti know that as well, in hopes that if Narashti is able to... Uh-oh. And we pause.
Pausing for station identification.
Here we go.
Arg.
We're good.
Okay. So, that he's still going to continue working on it in hopes that if Narashti can get Anya and can get him back to Sharn, he can hopefully get it built by then, as he'll have more resources at his workshop than he had on board the airship. But that they did also leave in the morning, actually shortly before you and the rabbits arrived. And so you, after breakfast, you head forth, and I would like people to roll a perception.
Okay.
Can I aid? Can I aid like Rhiannon or someone?
Sure.
I will aid Rhiannon.
Use our passive if it's better than what we rolled.
Yeah, for this, that's fine.
Cool.
I will use my passive.
Ditto. I'm at a 19.
Also same.
Oh,
17.
17.
Yeah.
Because it would have been a 9.
Oof.
16.
The 2.
Okay. Someone go ahead and roll me a d8.
Gotcha. 5.
Okay. So it takes about 5 hours of searching the jungle. Which, you kind of went into it thinking, well, it's not going to be that hard. It's where Zaya had crashed. There should be a lot of debris, it shouldn't be that hard. But admittedly, when you're looking at it from above, all the jungle starts to look the same a bit. So you kind of get that, like if you're looking at the water and kind of getting the sort of that mesmerized effect a little bit. So it takes a little bit, and then there are a few times where you believe you've kind of hit the path, but then realize, it's like, okay, I recognize that hill, and then you get there and it's like, oh, nope. And so it takes a bit of going through, and admittedly, the jungle starts to grow back fairly voraciously in and of itself as well. But after about 5 hours, you do find the spot that you see where you had buried the goblins. You do see the for the couple of half dragon corpses that were left behind. You see they are already picked apart quite a bit from the critters of the jungle. Does not take long.
So, Amber, I have a thought. If you don't want to use up all of your spell slots every single day, I can cast as a ritual Gentle Repose, and that'll pause the timer.
True.
And lasts up to 10 days. So then you could potentially do like one a day in case we run into trouble and you need spell slots.
Yeah,
Just a thought.
I was thinking about that.
I'm going to throw this out there too. We could do the Gentle Repose. You could do one a day, and we could make our way to Jarasco in the Talenta Plains, which is on this side of the Mournlands. And anything that you don't get to by the time we get there, we can pay Jarasco to take care of.
True. I mean, doing Gentle Repose gives us 10 days. And if I just do one a day, that's 10 bodies, which is more than...
Yeah.
Yeah, how many of our friends did we bury here? I don't recall.
5.
5, yeah.
Out of curiosity, with Gentle Repose, is that something you can keep casting? Like once the 10 days is up,
I can
recast it again?
It doesn't say
Probably.
I can't.
I mean, yeah.
So, even if we don't have the lead time for whatever reason to do it, you can just keep ritually casting Gentle Repose until we finally get to all of them. It's a little macabre, but we can make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am happy. I mean, it'll take me a while, if I'm doing ritual casting.
Yeah, it's like an hour.
It's like I
10
think it's
minutes.
an Is 10 minutes? Oh, good.
10 minutes?
I think ritual casting is usually
Rituals
10 minutes.
are at least 10 minutes.
Usually 10 minutes plus the casting
To
time of the
cast.
spell.
So 10 minutes and 6 seconds.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
So yeah, once we find our friends, I will. I mean, it's going to take me almost an hour, but
Yeah.
I will do the thing.
Okay. No, I like that plan better.
Also, it makes Regaden feel better about her intrusive thoughts there.
Fair.
So you recover the remains, which doesn't take too terribly long, all things considered. And Rhiannon, bring him on board the ship. Rhiannon begins her ritual to gentle repose. And where are you off to next?
This brings us back to our original problem. Oh, for fuck's sake.
It
Hang on.
does.
Sorry. Tech goblins are knobbing on the stream again. It's fine. I'll fix it.
The spirits of the dead want their retribution.
They do.
Wanda, knock it off.
Well, I
And
guess
we-
the question remains. I mean, we've kind of been back and forth between Sharn and Stormreach.
Barca think that if dragon mark things can be bad and you don't report said dragon marky thing, it sounds like for Ember that's not good, but so we don't report Ember. But if we don't report Riri's, then we have two people that may be targeted, and it's easier to protect one than two all the time.
We will also add that this, and she sort of gestures vaguely at her gigantic mark, could be a good thing for us because it gives me more clout in my own house.
May I, without knowing anything about the inner workings and politics of the Dragon Marked houses, my genuine concern is the fact that Lyrandar lost a bunch of airships and will, through some misguided attempt to recoup their losses, try to commandeer Zaya.
That
Like,
would
it's
be
a
a
genuine
potential
fear that I
issue.
have. I
even
get
in
When we-
yes, I
Stormreach.
get it. They can fucking try, but I'm sorry, I don't want the wrath of an entire Dragon Marked house on my head.
I understand
When
that,
we-
but that's also a potential problem in Stormreach. If Stormreach is your solution, there is a Lyrandar tower there.
Can we
Look,
possibly
when
listen
we-
to everything that I have to say before we jump to any conclusions about what the fuck it is I'm trying to say?
I would like to point out that when we first came together as a crew, I was working as a sailor on a House Lyrandar airship. I spoke with the local branch of House Lyrandar. They seemed content to know that our ship was separate, and I did let them know that we were open to potentially doing jobs for House Lyrandar in the future. If that is still something we are willing to do for them, and they can get a job done by simply contracting us rather than trying to commandeer our ship by force, I do not see why they would spend the extra effort to try to force the ship to do something when they can simply ask the ship to do something.
That is a valid point. What I was going to say is that we should potentially talk to Madani first, let them know about your mark, and then we could potentially use that as leverage, as sort of like, you are a sovereign member of the ship, therefore it needs to be independent, and if Lyrandar decides they want to take shit over, they'd have to contend with just Madani and not just us.
That was my point.
Then it sounds like we are all on basically the same page. So, who would like to contact House Madani?
That should probably be me.
Well, and for that matter, your parents and
Mama.
Meredith are basically back at New Throne. Unless they were on the ship, I forget.
I believe they were on the ship.
Yeah, they were on the ship.
Never mind. They are on the ship.
We give Lyria an opportunity to check in as well. If she wants to. If that's even a thing that she wants at this point. I don't know.
It will also give us a chance to shop, resupply, get provisions, and potentially some more magical items to assist us in any of our future endeavors.
Mm-hmm. Potentially have these items identified that we haven't been able to yet.
Hmm. Then I believe we have our plan of action.
Okay, so where are you going?
We're going to Sharn. Brian, are you just like watching it burn?
I'm just enjoying. I'm just enjoying. Yeah, like our viewers, I'm enjoying watching the chaos reign. That's all. It's beautiful. So then the goal is to head back to Sharn first, or at least
so.
Okay.
Yup.
I don't think we have any further plans beyond that. So I think Sharn is the destination for the time being, and then we'll go from there. And we'll get to have this conversation all over again.
Yay!
Rhiannon is real salty with Gavin right now.
I mean, Gavin's pretty salty with Rhiannon right now, so I feel like it's.
Oh my god, are we having a lovers quarrel?
I think we're having.
Ember is just lying on the deck, just going, "Tell me when it's over."
I hear that when you fight.
It'll be over when he apologizes.
Oh my god, we don't have the time!
Boy.
Okay, so moving on. So you start heading back then.
He said that he might have been willing to.
Moving right along.
So your trip is fairly uneventful. It takes probably the rest of the evening and probably the majority of the next day, but you're able to get back to
And were we still doing one gobbo raised per day?
So that's 2 gobos.
Okay.
2 gobos back.
Well,
Which 2 gobos?
here's the question, though. Question is, whether or not the goblins necessarily want to come back.
Right.
I suppose.
But that's okay. I would still be willing to put the money in to give them the option.
So here's I guess the here's how I'm going to pose it. Kind of like they do in Critical Role. What would you like to do to sort of convince their spirit to come back when you cast the spell? And does anyone want to try to assist in the?
Maya would assist.
Okay.
Nan didn't really know, doesn't really know the guy. She's just kind of. God, that sounds so bad.
Just decided to be your racist self and just sit on the back line and go, you know what, I'm just going to let it happen, but I'm not going to be, in this.
Well, to be fair, Ember and Amaya were probably the kind of PC characters that worked most closely with the goblins.
And Barca.
And Barca.
Yeah.
But Barca
Us
wasn't
three.
very PC about working with the goblins. We'll just be straight up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the very first thing Barca did was kill one of the original 13 goblins that we had and said, "Don't be next."
It was to send a message. It worked out in the end.
So, which one would you like to start with?
Oh.
Oh my god. I would like to start with the one that I thought that was Wanda,
Okay.
but we were never sure.
Okay.
So I have a feeling it's not Wanda at all.
Go ahead and make we'll call it a medicine roll.
Oh, frick. I don't...
Since Amaya is
Okay.
aiding with this, can I roll that as well?
Yes. Or you can aid. You can either roll individually or one can aid the other.
I rolled a 19, so that's a dirty 20.
I love it.
Nice.
Medicine is based off of wisdom, and I have a negative modifier in wisdom.
So, not counting 11 who died in the other battle, there's you are able to identify the two female bodies, Wanda and Savengelina, and you feel pretty solidly that you can identify between the two.
All right, then I will get Wanda.
Okay, so what do you?
I will sing Wanda her song that I worked on.
Okay.
I don't have one
Okay.
in real life.
No, that's fine. And
But it would have been stupid and cheesy and really dumb.
so you start singing this silly, cheesy, and kind of dumb song, but you do think back to all the training and whatever, and all the kind of the good times of kind of sharing and you know, the hugs and the snuggles and stuff too, and so you get a little, your vision gets a little blurry as you get a little teary-eyed just thinking about it too, and as you kind of, you know, for a moment, you know, as you kind of complete the ritual, just kind of take a moment to gather your breath. You look and you see this little weak jazz hand just kind of goes up a little bit.
Yes.
Damn it, it's supposed to be spirit fingers, Wanda! God damn it!
And you see it goes from... But Wanda is back in the world.
All right, and then I'll do Svengelina next.
Okay.
The next day.
And Savengelina does not come back.
All right. Crap. Now I gotta rebury this one.
Barca
I mean, yeah,
has
but, like-
idea what to do with body.
Okay.
I mean, Liddy's gotta eat.
I'm just...
So it's bad for me to have a second thought about bringing back a bunch of frickin' goblins, but it's perfectly okay to use Liddy as a goblin disposal system.
Yes,
Absolutely
because
not. I
they
would definitely make an off-color
chose. They chose. It was
Okay,
their
hey.
choice.
Hey, I just realized something. I have the title for this episode. Resurrections and Racism.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
I'm sorry, I had to. I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
I apologize.
I need to put a content warning in the beginning of this one. Holy fuck.
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
Dark place.
Sorry,
Let's.
guys.
Oh.
I am not genuinely suggesting we feed the corpses of our friends.
No.
Rhiannon will
God.
point out that, like, we have the gentle repose. Like, the gentle repose spell doesn't go away just because your resurrection failed. Like, it's still there. So, like, it's not like oh no, we need to get this body in the ground ASAP. It's like
It's still preserved for the
it's
period
still
of the
preserved.
spell. Yeah.
Yeah. And is this raised dead that we're casting?
Yes.
Okay.
So what are we doing with the body?
We're going to
Nothing yet, I
likely
think.
bury whatever goblins remain behind.
Fine.
Once we get to Sharn.
Okay. The trip to Sharn, in and of itself, goes smoothly. And you're able to, and funny enough, the actual like skyship docks are relatively empty, so you have pretty much your pick of the litter for where you want to park. That being said, you know, more of the sky coaches and smaller vessels that flit around Sharn, taxiing people around, all of that is still around. So it's not that the skies are empty by any means, but definitely the heavy movers are are definitely not present, which makes it kind of a weird.
Yeah. Rhiannon would have tried over the past like day or so that we were on the ship to like have a conversation with Lyria about what she wants. Does she want to go back to the house? Does she even want them to know that she's alive? Like,
That's fair. Well, and so we'll say at one point, so the three of them are kind of sequester themselves a little bit, as you guessing there's a lot of talking and other stuff going on, whatever. But you do hear, but I mean they do come out for meals and stuff, but they're you get the sense, because your insight is disgustingly high, that they're still trying to figure. The three of them are still trying to figure whatever they're trying to figure out in terms.
are they still being all weird?
There's still some weirdness, but
Come up for air sometime. Jeez.
well, and so it's not so much, and admittedly, when you broach the question to your mom, she honestly doesn't know. And for right now, maybe best not to say anything until she kind of figures out what she wants to do.
Okay.
But we'll say, and admittedly, part of it is its past couple of days have been a bit of a whirlwind for her, and so even with restorative magics and whatnot, she crashes and probably sleeps through a good chunk of the couple of days and whatnot. So you don't see as much of her, and Karth is for the most part kind of staying by her side, and one could argue almost maybe a little bit on the smothering side, but you know, trying to make up for lost time. But one of the times that you go to their quarters to sort of check up on them, you actually see that Meredith is kind of sitting outside sitting outside the door, kind of reading a book. Sitting in like a chair or whatnot, or well, quite frankly, on the fucking treasure hoard, because because really, and you see she just kind of looks up and smiles and is like, "Hey there."
Hey. I don't suppose that at some point you're going to decide to let me in on whatever is going on here. Because you know that I know something is up. And I don't like being kept in the dark. Especially when it comes to 3 people who I care very much about.
And she just kind of gestures, and you see like admittedly she kind of laid out like a sort of a blanket that she's sitting on, and you do see there actually is a basket with like a wine and some cheese. Like she's not just, she's relaxing and reading her book and having wine time, but she kind of gestures over. It's like admittedly, so when we found out that your mother was alive and your father was here beginning the search for her and all of that, and I showed up, your father and I did spend some time together, obviously, in looking for your mother, not in a romantic sense, but necessarily, but obviously we both love and care for your mom very much. And in a lot of ways, I could see why she fell in love with him. Under that gruff exterior, the fact that he actually has a brain, I see the subtleties. We're trained to see such things, and
yes.
And admittedly, in a lot of ways, your father and I can be feel a lot alike in that we both feel guilty over
Mom.
Yeah, and the choices that we made. And your mother, being the amazing woman that she is, well, she's forgiven us, so to speak, at least as far as we can tell, but admittedly for each of us, we're still dealing with our own personal struggles with that. But your mother's an amazing woman, and I think we're both at the point where we're realizing what we want, what we hope, and as in terms of our love for her and her love for us, and trying to figure out exactly what that means, I guess. And then you see she takes a sip of wine, and you see she blushes a little bit. It's like, and last night we explored that a little bit. Don't really know where we go from here, but we're covering some new ground and seeing how it all works out. At least for right now, it sounds like Lyria and Karth will probably come back with me to Stormreach once we decide to go that route, although And she kind of looks back at the door. Right now, I'm giving them a little time to themselves there, but and obviously we want to spend time with you. And
Happy for you.
We're in a strange position right now, where we both have hope, and it's it's something we're not always used to. So it's something we have to work on.
Fair enough. I'll leave them alone then. But she'll maybe have some wine with Aunt Meredith. Is that where? I think that's where we're going with that.
Do you say that to her?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she rolls her eyes like, oh my God, don't.
Yep.
Auntie Mare.
That's a thing now.
You, my dear, are evil, and she pours you another glass of wine and pours one herself, and
Only sometimes.
and kind of clinks glasses.
All right.
And then you see she kind of closes up the book, and it's the ship's library copy of Tuskalov. And
Yes. Love that for us.
have you read this thing? It's amazing. Anyway, so
I have. It's really good.
So they're not that they aren't friendly with people or whatever, but they're definitely. Granted, part of it is your mom is just like the emotional and physical and all the exhaustion, and now being able to relax, that she just kind of is kind of wiped out for.
Her life's not actively in danger.
Right.
For the first time in like 5 years, so.
Yeah. And I mean, you know how Madani is, House Madani is.
Mm-hmm.
They'll find out eventually, but
Oh yeah, not from me, not at this point at least.
yeah. That being said, you are back at Sharn. What would you like to do?
I will also point out that Gavin and Rhiannon probably have a tense conversation at some point. There's a shouting match, and then they're ultimately okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you concur, Rhiannon?
I don't know that there's a shouting match. There's probably a slap involved. I feel like that's appropriate.
Add it to the counter.
I'll add it.
Along the lines of, don't speak to me that way again. Yeah, they work it out. There's probably makeup sex after. That's fine.
Unlikely. How did Amaya and Rhiannon switch places on the stream? Okay.
Because my internet glitched during Brian's speech from Meredith. Of course, at like the most inopportune time. But it came back up pretty quickly. So
Okay, we're good.
And
I got this.
I guess nothing confusing.
I don't think I missed anything. I think I was able to follow along.
Okay, because I honestly didn't even see your video of Blip or anything, so
Yeah.
It didn't seem enough on my end.
It cut out for maybe 10 seconds.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Rhiannon is going to go report in, but I don't want to hog the spotlight, so. I see that face, Jessica.
I think Gavin is going to go see if he can't get the powerful items that we have identified.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Where would you like to go to do that?
Probably House Cannith,
We have a coupon.
for which apparently we have a coupon.
Would this place be somewhere that builds weapons as well?
Yes.
Then Barca would like to tag along with his dragon teeth.
Okay.
Amaya will tag along as well.
I'm looking for the slap counter.
It's up near
I'll
the
find
top
it.
of the document.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's on. I think it's near the top.
Got it.
I forgot we
thought
had
it
that.
was. Or it's in the player descriptions.
Nope, I found it. We're good. I'm up to 5.
Yeah, you've slowed down a bit.
Yeah, she was a
Character
little.
growth.
She was a little slappier in the beginning.
I mean that, or I was more of a dick at the beginning.
A little of both.
Yeah, a little both.
I mean, the two don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Oh, they're not. They're not.
Okay, so if you want, just so that you have someone with you, Rhiannon, Nikali will volunteer to join you if you'd like.
Sure, yeah.
What? You're saying Ember doesn't want to go to House Madani and check in?
I'm shocked.
So
that's a no then. Okay, got it.
You're
will-
so gonna find flaming spiders in your bed one night.
That's my bed too. Come on.
Just don't be the first one in.
Duly noted.
The next morning, they're replacing the mattress because the other one succumbed to Eldritch Blast. Giant gaping hole in the fucking mattress.
So we'll deal with the Cannith crew here.
Ooh.
And you, being for the charisma that you guys have in general, with probably a small time of waiting, they do bring you into a kind of a VIP waiting area.
Okay.
Because of course, when you're first like, yes, we would like to work to get some things identified, and they're like, yeah, okay, form the line over there, and like, well, and just kind of like, oh, they're like, never mind, right this way. You obviously scarily
Open!
wealthy people that we need to be a little bit more service orientated towards, kind of. And so they do bring you into a nice area, and there's like some nice wines and a charcuterie thing going on, you know. And they do say that the being that they're, at least from what they can detect with their initial magics, some potent items. It may take a bit of time as it involves not just magical sort of identification, but also some kind of research to see what's kind of all involved. That being said, probably like we'll say a handful of hours, 2 hours later, they come back and you see the gentleman that you see walks in with your items. Actually, honestly, walks in with like a nice lacquered case, felt lined with the items. Like they took the time to make that for them.
Yeah.
And mention how much. That these are. May I ask how you received these? They
No.
are, and he pulls out a handkerchief and wipes his brow a little bit. It's like they are absolutely amazing.
They were
Thank you.
The spoils of a particularly lucrative adventure.
At that point, Barca's going to drop 2 dragon teeth down. I'd like to make a weapon.
Draw whatever conclusions you will.
And by the way, on that case, like just poof, 2 dragon teeth.
Okay.
Gavin just smiles.
Well then, very well. Very well then. By the way, out of character, probably negotiated, since these are more potent items, it's probably going to be like 100 gold for the identification and research.
We have a coupon.
Total or each?
I'd say for each.
Okay. And what was our coupon for?
25% off.
I will invoke the coupon.
Okay.
So 75 for
The
each
coupon
item.
is invoked.
So 75 for each item, which puts that at 225 gold.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And that coupon is used.
That guy's soul just partially died.
I mean, yeah. I mean, yes and no.
I mean, in the context, that's still quite a bit of gold to be dropping on any one single thing.
It is. It is.
And this guy has just had the privilege of being able to see and touch and inspect these fantastical items in person.
Mm-hmm.
So, starting with the
Deck of many things. Mm-hmm.
We don't know what that is.
well, the be careful in inspecting the deck of cards, as it is a focal point for chaos.
And
When you say focal point,
you mean chaos?
Amaya just kind of surreptitiously puts herself a little bit more between Ember and the deck.
The worst thing they could have
So
said
this-
to Ember.
This deck of cards, as it were, is no mere deck of cards, but has potent magical effects that can only be enacted by a random draw of cards from the top of the deck. However, whether for good or ill, whatever happens from that card affects you immediately. And it could be a very positive thing, or it could be an absolutely horrible thing. And there's a few that are right in between.
So fun at parties. Yes.
unless you immediately burst into acid.
Ah,
I assume this is the deck
has he
of many
got
things.
somebody that
This
can
is
pull you
where it is.
out?
More or less, yes.
Just from my notes? Okay. Gavin is going to take the deck of cards, glance around at the group with him, and just kind of hand them over to Amaya.
Amaya will secure them in a belt pouch on her person.
Okay.
It's like, don't get me wrong,
The-
Ember. I love you, but also I like breathing.
Handing the most dangerous item to the crew mom is definitely a good idea.
What I would say, and kind of
Nobody's ever going to use them now.
kind of gestures towards the rod. Probably and I say this very loosely, but the least potent of the items, as far in terms of power and significance, would be this this rod that poses extreme magical healing. In fact, potentially, if one were to use all its power at once, could even bring someone back from the dead. However, in doing so, there may be a chance that it would lose its ability with that function.
Sure.
But it is an extremely potent item in terms of its healing capability. And that is a Rod of Resurrection.
I just straight hand that to Ember.
And I secretly pass it to Rhiannon.
There.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yep.
Who's dead now?
That's right. It goes. Strap it on the back.
Had she been there, she might have gotten it, but she's not.
And last, there is a ring. It says the ring is nothing short of the ring. You should be cautious as far as the wearer, but it is nothing short of the ability to gift some miracles.
Oh shit.
You mean miracles?
Oh shit. No.
Yes. So that is a ring of 3 wishes. And as he kind of hands that off, and is actually a little sad that you guys didn't necessarily want to keep them all in the nice decorative case, but as you guys kind of grab the items and kind of hand them off to each other, then kind of closes and it's like, so shall I contact House Deneth to order up a bodyguard and crew to escort you back to wherever you need to go, because I fear you walking around with such items out in the open would be a potential recipe for...
Dude, if you knew how we got these items, you wouldn't even ask that.
I reach out and I take the box, like, from him.
Sure.
We're good. Thank you.
Very well.
My friend
now,
here would like a weapon made with these giant dragon's teeth that we definitely didn't get in the same place that we got all this nice stuff.
No. Definitely not.
Did we?
We 100% did, Barca.
Oh.
Yes, we, and you see he actually kind of pulls out a, sort of like a tablet with some paper, and pulls out a quill and ink, and is like, so do tell me, what are you thinking of in grand broad strokes here? And if you want, we can, I know you sent me stuff, if you want, we can kind of...
Oh yeah, Barca will just basically sit down as he's attempting to put like cheese on a cracker and mimic some of the other people, and pouring the charcuterie that was laid out, randomly into his mouth. Yeah. And explain basically death that kills very good. And help Barca protect friends very good. And considering that we got these from dragons, that we could, knowing that with these pieces would make the weapon be very good.
And what type of weapon are you, do you typically wield swords or a maul or axes?
He takes his double-sided axe off his back and sets it on the table like this, but more good.
It will take some time. That being said, I know me and my associates would relish producing such a commission. I imagine such an item will fetch a fairly high price, especially with the customization of it. Is there any designs or logos or things you would like associated with it?
I heard these marks things are important. Is that something that should go on a...
That's very specific to a specific group of people, Barca. Maybe do you have like a... I mean, you and your mom just
talking dragon marks, and he kind of shows he's got like a mark, kind of a magical tattoo, not the same as, but somewhat similar to what you've seen with Rhiannon and Ember.
Ooh, Plot Pigeon says, what about that thing that we designed when we were going to be like a gladiatorial group?
Mm-hmm. We have a symbol.
Well, you just reunited with your mom, so like if you want to get like a, I don't know, like a comfy chair or something like stenciled on it, or you know this, and he shows the tattoo of the design that y'all had gotten how many fucking games ago.
Forgot about that. Definitely not this sofa, because you just Gavin doesn't know how to be like, you know, mighty and scary. So but that thing on his arm would be cool right there.
May I take a look?
Gavin just kind of pulls out his tattooed arm.
He begins sketching it out.
Barca leans in and kind of is like, Barca's been pretty hammered lately. Does Barca have one of these too?
No, buddy, you didn't get a tattoo. You would have noticed the shaved spot.
He starts looking for shaved spots now.
Just picture him going in a circle, just trying to look at his back.
Right, trying to look at his flank, just kind of going in circles.
Yeah, that's fitting. Anyway.
Now, it will take some time to produce something of this power. And
how short can we make this timeline?
Well, we can try to expedite certain aspects of it, but it's still going to take some time to mesh the traits that you're looking for. Let's take a look at the DMG. All right. We would ask for a bit of a call it a down payment or security deposit, as it would. Something this potent, I would say perhaps 25,000.
Down or total?
Down, not total.
What's total?
To be honest with you, I'm not 100% certain at this point, because we don't know what materials are, all the materials that will be going to put this together. That being said, with the materials that you are providing, we will be able to make this a powerful and potent item for you.
So it'll be good.
This is not. It will be very good. This is not the power of the weapon is not something. Let me rephrase. This is going to be a one-of-a-kind item. its likeness will most likely never be seen again. And we want to make sure that its quality is of the finest manufacture for you. Which is why I apologize. I can't give you the full details of how much it's going to cost because I honestly don't know at this point. But we will do what we can to expedite what we can. I've taken the list of things that you are looking at, and we will incorporate that in. What would be the best way to... Actually, no, never mind. Pardon me for just a moment, and he heads out and then comes back in with a small, maybe like 2 or 3 inch by 6 inch little wooden coffer, opens it up, and you see there are 2 Civis Sending Stones, and hands one to you, and has the other one, and he puts it in his pouch,
He takes the stone and walks over to Amaya and gives it to Amaya.
Rhiannon, there was a limit to how much of the 25% there was, and it's not going to cover the weapon. I'm telling you that right now.
Nah.
It's not going to cover the weapon.
Sure, but if it's 25% off up to this gold piece value, we're still getting the full value out of that coupon.
It says 25% off a service over 250 gold pieces.
Under 250 gold
It says
pieces.
over, or a free service, 250 gold pieces or less.
Oh, no. Here's the thing, though. There are limits, and there's no fucking way they're going to give you 25%.
Are you seriously not going to honor this coupon?
It's for a
Speak
service,
to your manager.
not like the entire I take it the identification was one service and the weapon is the other service.
Oh, fine. I tried.
I don't.
Off the
This
line
is in
item.
one trip. This is one trip.
I, as the game master, am not going to dive
Yeah,
into
not
all the
left the
freaking
store.
legalese, but if you want, they can summon a contract devil to make sure that the negotiations are perfectly set, but they would prefer not to.
Fair.
But they can.
Barca would have probably.
I'll take it on.
Barca would have probably came with a bunch of gold, probably as much as he could carry, and 2 dragon teeth. And he does have a bag of holding that's probably got some stuff in it, so he probably... I don't know how much that is, because we did talk about how gold is heavy.
Could we have stopped at Kundarak Bank and then just come here with a line of credit?
Yeah, probably.
Yes. How many? I guess whose shares or whatnot did you convert over to a credit house of Kundarak Credit, or did you just help Barca with his?
I mean, Gavin for sure would have put his money in Kundarak. He would have.
Rhiannon also would have put her money in.
Right, but there's only so much treasure chest that can fit in a longboat with the rest of you.
So we took some trips. Honestly, I imagine if we'd gone to Kundarak and said, okay, so here's the deal. We have a large quantity of gold that we wish to store within your bank. It is more than we can reasonably carry. And flashed some of that bling at Kundarak. I imagine they would have some variety of concierge service to help ferry shit back and forth.
Just come over with a wagon full of bags of holding.
Here's the deal. You can work to negotiate that out, but you didn't say that you were doing that before you headed to Caneth, so it has not been done yet. That being said, your typical bag of holding...
Well, let's do this then, because then Gavin will turn to Barca and say, so here's the deal. I don't think no matter how much gold you have with you, you're going to have enough to cover that. Let's leave these things here with them and a down payment or a holder's fee. Do our business with the bank and then come back with a line of credit so that they can do the thing that they need to do.
I have no idea what you just said.
Let's leave them this stuff plus a little bit more so they can just hold it for us and then go make sure that they have the money they need.
Bar could trust Gavin.
He looks over at the Kenneth guy. Is that acceptable? We have to make a significant deposit with Kandarik, and we have not had a chance to stop there yet.
Oh, of course.
So Gavin is
Just
going to
to let
hand
you
him...
know, Barca, if you emptied out your bag of holding and put nothing but gold pieces in, your entire bag would be filled to get the 25,000.
Yeah, isn't it like 500 pounds or something?
Right, because the bag of holding's 500 pounds.
Yeah.
Times 50 is 25,000 gold pieces.
Barca will be like, but Gavin, Barca got full bag.
You filled your whole bag with gold?
As he starts emptying it.
Barca wanted weapon. Barca just went into ship and just filled with gold.
And you see the
Apparently
guy.
we're going to pay...
Ember just starts rolling on the floor, laughing, drinking the wine, because this is the best thing ever.
So, admittedly, it takes a bit of time then, because, to be quite frank, they have to start bringing a few extra tables and some people to count the money.
Well, and Barca probably would have just like dumped it upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
I'm just seeing the mountain and now the
fact, when
shattered
you,
table because
yeah,
of the
like when
weight
you,
of the gold.
Flip the bag inside out, the gold dumps, and the table just busts. But
Gavin just
Not
hands
that-
him 10 extra gold for the table.
you see the
Receipt,
guy's
please.
eyes light up. Like the table is not of consequence at this point. It's not even a thing.
You should
In
get a
fact,
stronger
he
table.
apologizes that the table broke. Like
He would.
So probably takes another, call it an hour, for them to just kind of count the money and then to mark it and then to give you the effectively the receipt for it. Basically the terms and conditions, which aren't really anything other than to say that you are identified as Barca of however else what you want to say, and in fact, as they sit there, you see they actually bring in a house civis gnome to draw up the sort of the paperwork, and actually on the page draws a picture of you in a pretty good, for the rest of you, pretty good likeness. So like there is no mistaking who the fuck just dropped 25 grand for this weapon on. Because that's a shit. I mean, that's a fucking mansion, basically.
Yeah.
And
Barca
then
will
his-
also, right beforehand, there's a stone that he always wears in his necklace that he's always had. That I'm sure you've all either noticed at one time or not, but just one of the things that's always been on Barca's. It's not like the nicest stone or anything. He takes it out and he hands it and says, "This goes in bottom of handle."
Very well. So yeah, after they get that settled up, they basically again gives the stone, the sending stone to you, as well as like, if you have any questions, that way we can also contact you when it's ready, or if you have any questions or want any updates, it will ping to me. It's usable. It's a standard house civis stone. It's usable once per day, and as long as you're on the same plane, it should work just fine. If you're on a different plane, because why not? Then perhaps it may have a little bit more difficulty, but we will get to work on it right away. And
What is this guy's name for the notes?
Oh, you had to say that. Good question. Tell you what, roll me a d20. Why not?
15.
And roll me another d20.
12.
Okay, so his name is Amit.
Okay.
O-M-E-T. Amit to Kenneth.
Cool.
And yes,
Well,
gives
the
you a copy of the document basically, and signs. Amit signs with with like his personal arcane sigil on the documents, and then kind of looks over to you, Barca, and then if you'd like, depending on what you feel comfortable with, you could sign. You can. Some people pierce their thumb and put a little blood mark. It's whatever you feel comfortable with.
Bark has been taking lessons with Gavin, and so Barca will grab a pen and probably misspell his name and maybe flip the direction of one of the letters, but in giant is a poorly spelt out Barca.
The R is backwards.
Yeah.
And then he's like, good, and then makes just a little note in common just next to it. Just kind of, just a note for sure. But hands you, basically has House Civis sort of effectively be like a notary, put their mark on it so that it's like effectively a contract of sorts, and hands you a copy.
And then I take that and I look at it and look at Amaya and just hand it to Amaya.
Amaya will take that as well.
Monkey see, monkey do.
There you go.
So, and while they're kind of counting out the 25,000 gold pieces and bringing in the gnome and writing up all the things, Amaya will also inquire about potentially commissioning some kind of item. Player knows an item that he's looking for, but character probably doesn't know specifically that this item is a thing, but is looking for something to increase monk weaponry, fist punching hardness.
And we'll say during that time, they probably brought someone else to sit down with you to kind of discuss what you're looking for.
Sure.
And kind of go over the...
Yeah, they were probably tripping over themselves to get to you.
Yes.
There was a fist fight that we didn't see beforehand.
And remind me, is that a legendary?
It is a legendary. It's the Gloves of Soul Snaring.
Yeah.
So, similar to kind of Barca's deal, it'll obviously have to be something commissioned. Like, they don't have those laying about, but they can start working on it. It would probably also be like a 25 grand down payment deal.
Yeah. And Amaya did not bring a bag of holding with 25,000 gold pieces, so that will be a...
But at this point, they are more than happy to begin writing it and just say that if you can perhaps drop off the letter of credit from House Kundrak or whatever.
Right. They'll send a carrier to...
They'll and then just, they'll... Now that Bark has already literally dropped the gold on the table, they are more than happy to work with you as far as receiving that payment.
Okay. She would also isn't looking for anything in specific, but would make some general inquiries about the potential for any purchased or commissioned magical outfits for an airship. if they had anything that would.
What?
Are you talking to, like, conceal an airship? Or to change its design or layout?
I hadn't really thought of that, but
I guess, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by...
just kind of wondering if their offerings, like if they have any like magical plating that increases like the toughness of a ship, or if they have a cloaking device that could make a ship invisible, or any magical items that are meant for an airship.
Well, I mean, there's new discoveries kind of being made all the time. Admittedly, Kenneth, it's not entirely in Kenneth's purview, because obviously Lyrandar has, how'd you say, a monopoly on that market. But that's not to say that modifications to an that they couldn't necessarily do modifications to an existing airship if you have a personal one in your possession, which if you do, huzzah, because they ain't cheap, and you usually need a dragon mark as far as anyone knows to run one. So at this point, though, he's not really that surprised that you guys may have an airship when you mention it, because, quite frankly, at this point, you obviously have the fucking money. I mean, y'all just paid for like the Sharn branch of House Canis, like their like annual income for probably a good year.
Yeah,
not counting the commissions or whatever, but just like the base salaries.
Without blinking.
And
right.
And did we mention speed is of the essence?
And they will do what they can, but again, there are some things that are beyond their control.
Sure.
As I like to say to the people that call into my tech support line, I can do some things, but I can't break the laws of physics. And yes, I know it's magic, but you get the idea.
Right. This is more or less just, or mainly, player not really being as familiar with airship rules and things in Eberron and 5th Ed, so kind of asking the GM, like, are there any cool like airship magical items or something of that nature that we could potentially, if there's nothing that comes to mind and you're like, that's not really a thing, that's totally cool.
Well, I wouldn't say it's not a thing, but it's not as common of a thing, and is much like the more powerful magic items would have to be something that would have to be commissioned.
Right.
And admittedly, there's some different factors into play on that, as far as, if they have access to the ship to be able to make modifications to it. That's one thing that can help. Well,
and that was kind of the other thing. It would pretty much have to be custom made, because it wouldn't be like, well, we'll exchange these steel plates for mithril plates, like that.
Right. So I mean, it's not that it's out of the realm of possibility, but it would take some time, and is not necessarily their immediate forte, but it's not that they wouldn't be able to try something.
Okay.
The only reason why they wouldn't have probably a more immediate response is just because, Lyrandar has the monopoly on airships typically.
Sure. Well, we'll leave it kind of with the commissioning of the gloves, and just kind of like, hey, if you ever think of anything that you think would be very useful for an airship that you could make for it, let me know. I may be in the market.
Okay.
Gavin had one thing, and it doesn't... Basically, I'm just going to see if they have one on hand. He's not going to commission it. It is not a legendary item. It is a very rare item. It is the Illusionist's Bracers.
Again, it would have to be something that they would have to commission, but they are able to begin the process on that.
Okay. Then whatever gold they need for down after we go to Kandaric, we'll do the things.
Okay.
And then after we're all said and done there, I'd say we go to Kandaric and negotiate all that shit, but I don't want to take any more spotlight away from Rhiannon. So
Nope, that's fine. So Rhiannon, we'll jump over to you then.
Yes.
You and Nikali head out to the Madani Enclave, which is takes no time at all, and you can you do get the sense a little bit, you know, he's doing kind of polite conversation, but you can tell there's maybe just a hair of nervousness to it, just being out out in public, yeah. But you know, is being a trooper, so to speak. But you get to Madani without any issue, and honestly, before your sky coach even hits the kind of the mooring lines, you see that Sian is standing there.
Not quite I wasn't expecting a welcome.
And for probably the first time in a very ever, he is without words, and then just kind of rushes up and gives you a big hug.
Hug him back.
We need to discuss. Hello, and kind of says hello to Nikali. He's like, please come. We need to discuss.
Okay. I'll go with him.
And he brings you to his office, which is, you know, kind of the little pigeonhole. Small,
I'm very familiar with this office at this point.
Right. So how are you?
Good. It's been busy. We've had a bit of a busy time.
Yes, and
I'm assuming by the greeting that you've heard a few things.
Well, there are the few messages that you have sent me.
True.
And being that you are here, I am hoping that everything was successful.
I mean, we killed 3 ancient dragons, so sure. Yeah, it was a good time.
And you see, just takes a moment again, now twice now, even speechless, and then proceeds to open up a drawer on the desk and pulls out a bottle of something and a couple of glasses, and then proceeds to pour and hands you and Nikali and then please tell me all about it.
I will take him through it, leaving out bits about Lyria.
Okay.
But essentially, like, this whole crazy prophecy and the blah blah blah, and then we killed a lot of things. Nikali almost died. Nikali did die? Nikali did die. Almost died. I don't remember, but we saved him. That was good. New Throne survives.
I'm happy you did.
New Throne survived. They're rebuilding, and there's not an evil dragon over there anymore, or an evil dragon's evil mate or general, or, you know, any of that stuff.
So all of this was the machinations of what I would assume would most likely be the chamber.
Yes, we were informed after killing 3 ancient dragons that basically that part of the prophecy was a plant and a fake, and they essentially were using us as pawns to get rid of Drakaskull and her mate. So we're not very happy about that.
Understandable. Were you... In your letters, you had mentioned you were pursuing leads on your mother.
Yes.
That were taking you there, if I recall, which Brian's trying to recall, but I think you mentioned part of this was the search for your mom.
Or I probably did.
Were you able to find her?
We found traces, but I don't know where she is right now.
Go ahead and make a deception roll.
I mean, I technically don't know where she is at the moment.
You know exactly where she is at the moment.
I don't know if she's still on the ship. Oh no. It's a 14. Deception is not my strong suit. Investigation. Can I tell from his face that he knows I'm lying?
You get
Yeah.
The
Look. I need you to trust me on this one, and I need you to give her the time that she needs. I don't want her coming up in any official reports at this point. Do you have my back on that?
I won't say a thing.
Thank you.
I always have your back, dear. And speaking of, and kind of looks over at
the very obvious, like, whoop. Yeah, that's another thing that I wanted to kind of, just briefly mention.
May I?
Do you want me to take my dress off? It's gigantic. I'll turn and I'll kind of like pull, because, she wears kind of sexy clothes anyway, but like just kind of turn and like pull it down so that he can see more of it.
And he's very just kind of inspecting and like not is invading the personal space.
Yeah,
he's
not being creepy about it.
Not in a creepy way. I mean, you know for a fact you're not his type.
Yeah.
Now Nikali, but you see he just so just kind of inspecting, it's like my word. So how? I mean, I know.
Yeah, that happened like in the middle of fighting Drakaskull. It was really weird, but she was invisible, and then suddenly I could see her.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a whole thing.
Well, I guess the question then becomes, where do you see yourself going from here? Because at this point, the world is kind of your oyster.
What do you mean?
My dear, right now, all it would take is a word and you would be outranking several people. I mean, you have, I mean, look at you! And just kind of, just what, I mean, I realize it's going to take some time to kind of process this, but you know how rare and how rare a Sybaris mark is, and how those that have them, well, to say they're favored in the house is a bit of an understatement. What do you want to do with this, I guess, is the bigger question. I know you've been a loyal member of House Madani, but like, does this mean you are seeking more of a leadership role within the
Oh,
house?
God, no. I will be very frank with you. I love what I'm doing right now. I love the people that I'm with and this found family that I have and the freedom to go where we will and take care of things as we will, and I want that. I would appreciate any... I'm concerned for the safety of the ship and the crew with all of the issues with airships. Whether it's someone trying to commandeer her or take her from us or attack us. And I would love to be able to leverage House Madani if needed, should someone try to come after us.
I see. Well, I
want the safety of the ship and my people.
Okay. I mean, I will do everything in my power to support you as best I can, although, as you know, we are, to a fault, nosy at House Madani, and the word will get out eventually.
The word can get out. I don't mind if people know that I have this.
Just know then that there will definitely be... Those higher up will definitely apply pressure to convince you of the proper route to use your gifts.
They are welcome to try. I trust you to use the information to my best advantage and to yours. Along with the knowledge that we have wholesale slaughtered 3 ancient dragons and will not really bat an eye at doing the same to anyone who comes against us.
I have no doubt, as they will take that into much consideration, especially as I explain in delicious, gory details. However, also know that this potentially opens you up to a much larger, well, potentially political arena within the house, and maybe without. But just to give you fair warning, your days of solely being a street smart inquisitive are most likely behind you at this point.
I'll go into leadership when I'm ready to retire, see.
Just saying, I will do I'll do as best as that I can, but I'm excited for you.
Thank you. I'm excited for me too.
And I'm worried for you too. I mean, I know I'm not your father, but I admit I think of you fondly, as I would a daughter.
You have watched over me for a very long time at this point. And I care a great deal about you.
And you see, reaches into the desk and pulls out another unopened bottle and is like, for your mother.
Thank you.
And then kind of looks over at Nikali, who's been just kind of observing kind of silently and still has his little...
his mask on.
His little mask on, even though inside the room here, I mean, there's no windows in this room, so it's definitely dark enough it wouldn't necessarily hurt his vision, but kind of playing the shy guy, and and you do see Sion just kind of eye him up and down a little bit, because, you know...
if I haven't already made introductions, I will at that point. And
I assume
yeah.
You did, yeah.
Oh, bad manners.
No, I'm assuming you did during the heading to the office and whatnot.
But yeah, if we're finished, I'll head back to the ship and wait until the Cannith crew gets back.
Okay. You're able to get back to the ship without a problem. And I realize we have gone quite a bit here and probably should take maybe a little break. If that's good for everybody.
Yeah.
Because I realize it's like
3:30.
We
So,
are 2 hours and 20 minutes in, so yeah, this is a good time for a
Right.
break.
So we're going to go take a break, everybody, and we will be back.
10-ish minutes?
We'll try to aim for 10-ish minutes.
All right, we'll be back soon, guys. back.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Sorry, just made a note. All right. I mean, I'm just trying to help. Anyway, so welcome back, everybody. So you return back to the. You're able to return back to the ship. Those that are returning back to the ship without incident. You do notice there seems to be a lot more city guard patrolling in general, and you notice that there's the city does not seem to be as alive with movement as you've seen in times past. Being here, like you get the sense that with what's going on with the current war with Thrain, Aendir, Karnath, and all that, tensions seem to be a bit on the higher side, just with everything kind of going on. So. And it looks like the city is kind of invested more in having a more solid presence. I mean, granted, it also doesn't hurt that you are in the higher, aka more wealthier regions of Sharn as well, which doesn't hurt. But you do notice this particular time around there's definitely a different feel to it, just a little bit more of a subtle tension among everybody as they're kind of going about their business, less call it less lollygag and more people kind of heading to their business and whatnot. That being said, you are able to stop by House Kundarak to negotiate a transaction of sorts with some guards and whatnot. And what I'll say is for a small fee, which based off the amount of money and services rendered as they quickly get security details set up and to get the money transferred and get all of this kind of negotiated. Probably call it like maybe we'll say 1,000 gold as far as for paying for the security services and making sure that it's a tight thing and that everything's processed. That being said, for each of you, how much you'll want to put down on your character sheet, how much you are throwing into your own personal letter of credit with House Kundarak, and how much you're going to keep with you still on the ship. And just to make sure to make note of that on your character sheet. So everybody got a big share of the treasure, but basically, how much of the treasure do you want to of your share do you want to convert into aka a letter of credit at House Kundarak, and how much do you want to still keep on you as coin and or gems? And or if you want to exchange any coins for gems, because they are more than happy to do that however you want.
So
Question.
real quick, before you get to that, let's everybody just, all the PCs currently present, let's nix off 200 gold pieces to cover that 1,000 gold pieces, like transfer fee and everything like that, and that's done. What were you going to say, Amber?
This is more of a, well, no, it's still PC. It's still a player question. Is there any way, how can I make sure that my money is going to stay with me and my parents aren't going to be able to seize it?
It's your account. It's not your parents' account. You're an adult. It's yours.
Well, that's the thing. Kundarak is it's a noteworthy bank. Like that's pretty much all they do. And if shit like that were allowable, permissible, whatever, like they wouldn't have a reputation very long.
And
Ember is one of those, like, my parents are fucking high up, rich ass folks that can pay people to do nasty things, and I hide all of my valuables underneath my mattress because that's the only way that I know how to protect my shit.
Tell you what. If you're worried about it, since House Kundarak is not just a bank, but also kind of the mark of like putting up wards and kind of security features and whatnot as well. If you want to pay extra, I mean, they give you all the assurances that House Kundarak gives you, and the fact that you guys are putting a hell of a lot of money in the bank, which they appreciate. You know, they want to make sure that it's good. But if you're worried, they do have some extra security measures. I mean, in general, the only time someone's account is not accessed by the person itself is like if they're dead and there's, you know, obviously like a transfer to whoever you had willed it to, and maybe the occasional, if there's like a debt high enough that is like, or like a publicly owed back taxes, blah blah blah, you know, like that kind of BS. Like, so they sure do have some procedures for stuff like that, but not. It's usually not. It has to be a fairly significant amount, or it has to be like maybe a government agency instigating it for it to really happen. Like you owing a guy 100 gold, they're not gonna like.
No.
But if you owed a guy like 10,000 gold, you know, then they would maybe have, you know, work to whatever. But but that being said, if you want some extra securities and protections involved, you can, for a fee, add additional layers of security.
Good. I'm good.
Okay. I mean, they do assure you, like, well, for one, this is the Sharn branch, so they basically have direct access to the vaults in Kundarak. You know, the actual vaults in the Moror Holds. They have ways to access it. So I mean, they and those, you know. I mean, granted, the letter of credit alone should be enough, but it's like they do have ways to kind of identify all of you too. Like they take a copy of have a civis, you know, notary there again to like make a copy of your identification papers to recognize who you are. If you want to do any additional layers of security, yada yada yada. Like, but they've been doing this for a while. They know how to. How to secure their shit. For what that's worth.
How much was our cut?
A lot. Give me a second and I will give you an exact number. I was on the wrong page.
It was 188,888 gold 8 silver, 8 copper. So 1, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. Lots of 8s.
Yeah, lots of. Okay.
Just as a because I don't really know how lines of credit work. So Rhiannon wants to try to get a better breastplate, essentially, while we're here in Sharn. Is that something where she just is hey, look, I have this letter of credit, go talk to Kandaric with your receipt?
Well,
or
what typically is done is with the letter of credit, so it has written on there the amount that the letter of credit is for, so whatever value you have. So you can break it up into a couple of letters of credit of different values, or just one big old letter that has the full value on it. And then what typically happens is if you use that to do a transaction of whatever kind, then whoever is purchasing, or whoever you're purchasing from, will kind of make a note on there and basically write their amendment and kind of take down the information and whatever, and then basically get their money from Kundrak, and then the Kundrak will take it from your account.
What?
Yeah, it's basically
okay,
or like a traveler's check.
Right.
Barca wonders if what if Barca loses stuff? Does Barca lose the money?
Barca doesn't lose the money.
That's why they take down your identification information and your ID papers, which have your picture and whatnot, so that ultimately they can reference that.
So is it possible
Perfect.
to be
Barca
defrauded?
remembers he has to run back to his room because he emptied his entire bag of holding onto his bed before he came.
Yep, that's good because he can come back for Riri.
I got something for that, and he starts just booking it.
Is it possible to be defrauded? Yes. Is it hard to do? Also, yes.
Right. I mean, this is a business that they've been running successfully for as long as the Dragon Marked houses have been around. So they
also magic and Zone of Truth.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, there's absolutely ways around it, but
Well, yeah. It's a lot harder.
So yeah, I mean it's a traveler's checkbook situation. It's
okay.
The methodology of verifying identity are a lot more aggressive.
What he said.
Fair. I was just worried about okay, but if I put too much in there and then I try to go buy something, do I have to go back and get more out? Do I have to
Well, see, the line of credit.
Well,
depending on the vendor.
Well, you can take the letter of credit to the bank and get money pulled out as well.
And it's going
yeah.
to be taken anywhere basically anywhere there's a Kandaric bank, which is almost everywhere.
Right.
Okay.
So we can't go to backwater Dargoon and drop a letter of credit on them, but literally any major city in Corvair is going to have something.
Okay. Just trying to figure out how much of this I should be depositing.
And as you know, there is also a division in Stormreach, because you've already worked with them.
If it helps, I did 100,000 of Gavin's actual money into Kandaric, 25,000 down payment for the item that he's having commissioned, and the rest he converted to platinum, so it's not as ridiculously large.
Okay.
Yeah. That does help.
And you can convert and you can convert stuff to gems too. You don't even necessarily need to do letters of credit. They are more than happy to work with you on that, and quite frankly, all of their gemstones are they have little letters of accreditation and whatever, so you're getting the exact value. You're not getting shorted.
Oh yeah, we need to have enough gems to cover all of Gabos.
We already had some gems in Zaya's hold.
So yeah,
because we had
Ember,
secreted some of
tell
those
us
away.
What more we need to have the rest of them resurrected, and then have some on hand.
Where is the list of stuff in Zaya's panic room?
Let's see.
Anxiety is a panic room.
Because my raised dead, the raised dead is a 500 gold piece diamond.
So the panic room has 4 of those.
Mm-hmm. And now we would have done 2.
Used 2 so far.
Okay,
2 so far.
Marking those off.
6 die?
We have 5 right now.
6 have died. 5 are resurrectable.
Got it.
And we only got 1 back because the other one decided they didn't wanna.
That's fine.
Correct.
All right, so we're looking at 5 that are resurrectable times 500 is 2,500, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Divided by 5 because there's 5 of us.
Or take it out of the party fund.
Yeah.
Even
that works.
And there is a party letter of credit that's been around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we portioned off, didn't we portion off one of the portions for the party fund?
So I also recommend this. One, making sure that 1, we have enough diamonds to resurrect the rest of them. 2, to restock up and have at least 1 diamond for every freaking alive member on this boat. That's
Everybody
my recommendation.
claim your designated diamond.
Your diamond buddy. Where is your diamond buddy?
Well, or you could.
Barca gets a diamond and then walks over to Amaya and hands it to Amaya.
It's just gonna be
so much.
Amaya is now Barca's purse.
You start finding like dead rabbits in front of your door. That's when we need to have
Oh my God.
Amaya, rookie mom move. You don't ever let them start giving you stuff.
I mean, that was technically my fault.
Yeah.
He's just parroting what Gavin did with the deck of many things.
It never stops.
Barca, that seemed like a meaningless item to hand over to Amaya. So really, the depth of importance is the sliding scale for him.
Oh, I love it so much.
Brian,
Well,
I
and
sent you a
while
message in the G chat.
While we're in town here, and especially since Amaya keeps getting handed things, I think Amaya might look into buying a bag of holding herself.
Fair, yeah.
If that happens, Barca's looking for another bag of holding because the exact amount of money he's keeping to himself is what he's going to put in his bag of holding.
There you go.
That's okay. You know what? I'm not. Fine.
All right, give me just a moment here. There's a couple things I got to look at, and then I'll let you know what costs are.
No worries. All right, so am I doing the accounting for party fund?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
I got it. Just give me a sec. What were we gonna say? Go say what you're gonna say, babe.
I brain. Brief hold.
You have one.
Do I? Are you
So
sure?
whether or not it's talking to the rest of you is a different matter entirely.
That's really the question.
So, Gavin, to answer your quick G-chat thing,
yep.
I'm gonna say so. Normally, like for a regular version, aka one on the ground.
Yep.
In a state with like a manor is like roughly 25,000.
Okay.
I'd say because it's in Skyway, I would say it's probably leaning towards 35,000. But the good news is, you don't necessarily have to build one. There may be one that's actually already available.
Or like, the entire flipping block.
Gavin would, because I know some of them have like powers for like private airships. He'd be looking for one with one of those.
Oh, clever.
You, realistically, you could. I mean, they're the different floating estates. I mean, we'll definitely have spots for like sky coaches.
Yep.
But they wouldn't. None of them would necessarily have a mooring big enough for a full-on airship.
How about one that could be renovated to accommodate one?
Well, I mean, that being said, you could pay to have one built, potentially.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Whilst we're in town, Gavin is going to do a number of things kind of on his own recognizance, one of which is dropping off just an updated report at
With what's his
Jasper's
nuts?
shop.
Sure.
He's going to leave out anything about Lyria in the report, but he will drop that off with an update that Dracoskull is dead, her mate is dead, the fucking
General.
Brigadoon is dead. I can't remember her fucking name.
Verdoom.
Verded.
I like Brigadoon better. Anyway, so he's going to drop off that report, and then the manuscript for the novelization of the adventures, pertaining to all of those, because he's been working on that the entire time. And he's going to go look into purchasing an area in the Skyway with all of those things in mind that I just mentioned.
Okay. And then just to let you know, for a noble estate, it's about 10 gold piece per day maintenance cost.
Got it.
Again, really doesn't matter right now with where you guys are at, but just saying. Admittedly, there's a few questions at first, but as you kind of introduce yourself as part of the crew of the Berezaya Argia, and quite frankly, at this point, your names have started to get known with everything. That honest and frank discussions are had. And sure enough, especially as maybe certain monetary values are discussed, especially like, well, it could be very expensive. I mean, you might be looking up to 35,000 in cash. It would require quite a loan. It's like, how about cash? And it's like, or we can make things work. Like, that's the thing. Yes. Would you like the staff there today? Like, so,
Yes.
you can very much so negotiate a deal and find something that would be available in a short period of time.
Get something with a hot tub, Gavin.
Gavin is going to drop, you said 35, Gavin is going to drop 40 on the estate. And then basically the additional is going to go towards starting to build a tower for Zaya.
Okay.
And anything kind of left over from that is just going to go towards maintaining the house for however long that is.
Okay. That's yeah. That
You have a house now. Congratulations.
They
He's
say
going to,
it will
and
be,
he's going to call it not the Pendergast estate, just the Pendergast estate. Mostly just to piss off his ex-family.
okay. They will say everything will be ready within a week's time.
Including the tower construction?
Yeah.
Fuck. Hell yeah.
What happens when you throw money at problems, Gavin?
Take all the money. Just don't bother me with it. Just take the money.
Just take the money.
And when there are people who can cast spells like Stone Shape and just make walls.
That was very much a Philip J. Fry. Shut up and take my money.
Stone-shaped pillar, wall of stone. Stone-shaped pillar, wall of stone. There's a building right there. So yes, you, especially when you, quote-unquote, pay in cash, the person involved is like, I will see to it right away, and we will, like I said, everything will be ready and it'll be fully staffed and ready to go. I will have it all taken care of within a week's time.
All right, I will take my 100,000 in the bank down to 60.
Rhiannon would like to find preferably a +3 breastplate. If not, I would look for a +2.
Well,
just because
3 is a legendary. That may be
I know. It's just a breastplate.
Here's the deal. Admittedly, anything above a +1 is probably going to have to be commissioned.
That's fine. I'll backtrack to Canna since I wasn't there and commission a +3 breastplate. Like, it doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to be a really good breastplate. Take my money.
Okay.
How long?
So, similar to the other deals that were negotiated, they'll ask for, actually for you, they'll only ask for probably closer to, I'd say 10 grand down.
Okay.
And being that it's just a kind of a basic magical breastplate, like not, it will take a lot less to do because it doesn't have all the magical bells and whistles of a more custom item.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't take as long, and honestly, will probably cost you a lot less compared to Amon and Barca in terms of overall cost. In fact, they can even tell you that the overall cost will be you're probably looking at like 50 grand.
Cool. I will hand over 1,000 platinum.
Okay.
And
they do the whole rigmarole of you've got the signature and blah blah blah. And Barca, you said you were buying a bag of holding?
Yep. Went
As
with
is
the
Amaya,
Maya.
I believe.
And as well as Amaya. So for you two,
did we got scales off of that dragon, did we not?
I believe some of the stuff
Did we
was
harvest?
we harvested something. I don't remember what all we harvested.
I don't think we said. We just, because we had like Karth with us.
Karth, yeah. Karth was helping to do the things.
We just kind of hand waved it and said we harvested a bunch of shit because we had the people there to do it.
Each bag of holding will be about 4 grand.
Oh, that's actually a lot cheaper than I thought it would be.
It's a fairly common item.
Could I potentially buy more than one? Or is there like a this is what we've got in stock limit kind of thing?
I will say there is probably 5 in stock currently.
Just get them all.
I mean, yeah, for now, if Barca's going to buy one, I'm just going to buy the others. And then if anybody else in the crew wants one, or if we just want to be moving around massive amounts of money later, or have a bag of holding inside his panic room, we've got options.
Yeah. Oh my god, we're at that stage.
We definitely are.
How many you got? I'll take them all.
I mean, it's kind of a point of escalation because, like, you've got a meat cart. I want the meat cart. You've got 5 bags of holding. I want the 5 bags of holding.
That the entire time.
Seems like a point of
That was before a big payoff.
And having all the bags of holding in the cargo hold, if nothing else, means a lot of extra storage, which is not horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 2 other items that I would also like to look into. Well, one, potentially 2. Do we have an alchemy jug in the group
No.
list?
I don't
I feel like having an alchemy jug wouldn't be a bad thing to have, since we can
Yeah.
throw a little bit of
agree.
money around.
I'm gonna real quick go over it, but I don't think we do.
One of the versions in there, because I know there's a couple that have slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
You could definitely find an alchemy jug. That would not be an issue.
Yeah.
They're going to be about $6,000 a piece.
Okay. I think we can probably
I
get
don't
away
know
with just one.
how many. Are you looking on just getting one?
Oh, probably.
Okay.
Because they can do a whole crap ton per day of... Well, actually, let me take a look here real quick.
While you look that up, Ember, when you said you wanted a 500 gold piece diamond for every single member of the crew, do you mean PCs or literally every single member of the crew?
Literally every single member of the crew.
Okay, how
So
many
that
is that?
So
Are we counting Liddy?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I don't know
So-
how resurrection works on mimics, but it's fine.
Macaulay, Caliban,
I don't know either.
Liddy.
Molly, Kaladin, Liddy,
Tia.
Tia.
Yeah.
That's 4, and then currently there are 1, 2, 3,
5
4, 5,
goblins.
6, 7 goblins that are alive.
7.
So that's 11.
So that's 11.
Potentially 3 more gobos.
So we're looking at 14. I'm just going to get the 14 diamonds at 500 apiece. I will work this out. I just wanted to know what it was.
Just for NPCs.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
Yeah,
and-
plus
plus, and then
PP.
yeah.
I'm going to get one for Narashti too, just because I can.
Yeah. So plus the 6 of us.
Mm-hmm.
Plus that makes it an even 20 diamonds.
Hey, even better.
That's why I wanted to do the 6 for Narashti.
And I'm assuming those will probably just be stored in the safe room or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Zaya's panic room.
Okay. And yeah, I think at the very least for now we can probably get away with one alchemy jug, because like we can have it one day create a gallon of honey and then just store that honey, and the next day have it make a gallon of soy sauce and store the gallon of soy sauce,
Sure.
and just have all those things in stock. So I will do
Barca
one orange
prefer
alchemy
yum
jug.
yum sauce to soy sauce, but
Oh, okay. We'll
each
do
their
yum
own.
yum sauce. And then the one other thing that Amaya was going to look at, which probably isn't going to end up doing what she's hoping it will do, but the amulet of proof against detection and location.
Mm-hmm. Narashti had that.
Yeah, but didn't she trade it out for something?
I bought it for her. I don't know.
You'd be looking at about $20,000 for that.
Oh wow, really?
What?
Yeah. Amulet of proof against detection and location.
Yeah, just uncommon wondrous item.
Yeah.
Yeah, about $20,000.
Huh.
Definitely on the more expensive end of the spectrum. Part of it is
That's
because
surprising.
of how powerful of protection magics is kind of involved with it. So it is a little bit on the higher end, admittedly. But with all the purchases that you're doing, they'll be willing to knock it down to say 18.
Take it and run!
I mean, it's a 10% discount, 10% off.
You didn't even have to use a coupon.
Right?
Ruben!
Yeah.
At least nobody's trying to
Okay.
pronounce it coupon.
That's punishable by death.
It's one of my biggest pet
Oh my
peeves.
god. All right, Amaya will buy one for 18 grand.
That's
And
right, because
we'll-
you'll throw them in a chasm.
Ah, jeez.
Sorry, I had to. Just to see the reaction on
Bad
his face.
man.
Just to see the reaction on his face, I had to.
All right.
No
Amaya will buy one of
chasm.
those amulets, and will basically give it to Zaya, just kind of have it on her humanoid form that's either active or in the panic room, just on the off chance that maybe she can be considered attuned to it and protect her location. Maya has no idea if it'll actually work, but if there's a chance that she can make it so that Zaya can't be scryed on, she'll take it.
What if she attuned to it while she was in her, I don't know, her humanoid form?
Right.
That's what.
Yeah, even if it was just.
Hoping.
Yeah, even if it was just then.
Yeah.
But Amaya figures it's worth the investment, just on the off chance.
At the very least, whoever is scrying on her would get really fucking confused.
Right.
Okay. I think all the party fund accounting is accounted for.
Okay.
Ember, take your rod of absorption, if you please.
Rod of absorption.
And I am taking the rod of resurrection.
Real quick, looking at the rest of the horde that we haven't really done much with. Does anybody mind horribly if I do take the dragon slaying sword that got dropped?
Nope.
Nope.
There's two swords, a bastard sword and a scimitar, I believe. Oh no, Narashi took the scimitar. Never
Narashi,
mind.
Yeah.
Narashi took the scimitar. I just want the bastard sword. Okay, I'm going to add that to my sheet.
It would be really neat if I could have the Staff of Fire. It is not attunable by a bard.
I have no need of whatever fire.
I was gonna say, you have all of the fire shit, so.
I mean, I'm already immune to fire.
Huh. And I will try to fit my crystal in the top of my new Staff of Fire. My holy crystal.
Oh, we should also probably look into stocking up on some various potion of healings.
Yes. We did get a potion of supreme healing from from Rashak's horde. So we should probably put that maybe in the panic room also, or give that to
Panic room.
Okay.
Is the goal to buy more of the superiors, or are you trying to order
I think
more
just
something else?
I don't think so. Maybe?
I think it's probably best if you just tell us what the store is and we'll buy the store.
So the
Wait,
50...
Can we purchase an alchemist? Is that a thing we can do?
I mean, I have alchemy tools.
Some of it probably depends on what the cost is, because if it's not all that much more expensive to get a greater healing potion than a regular healing potion, getting a couple of graders.
A healing potion is 100, call it 150.
Because I think a base healing potion is 50 gold, right?
I'd say, yeah, the standard healing potion is 50. I'd say a grader is probably going to be about 150. And I'd say superior would be maybe about 500.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm just assuming we'd probably buy the store out of superior healing potions, right? At least Barca would, I would imagine.
They probably don't have that many
would be
superior.
amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, getting what we can.
Well, I'll say for the graders, there's probably 10 that they have available. For superiors, they probably have 2 available.
Okay.
And I'd say for the regular healing potions, they probably have like 20 available.
Okay, so 2, 10, and 20.
I will
So
point out
1,000, 1,500, and 1,000?
Mm-hmm.
I will point out to Rhiannon, we have that +3 chain shirt. It's medium armor.
Babe, my internet glitched again, so you might want to check my positioning on the...
I got you.
Oh, right. We do
Bark.
have a +3 chain shirt. Can you wear
do?
that, Rhiannon?
We would do.
Is
got
it
dropped in the horde.
light or medium armor?
It's medium armor.
That was in the...
If it's a chain shirt and not chainmail, then yes, I believe it is considered medium armor.
Does it give me disadvantage to stealth?
I mean, any medium armor, I believe, does.
No,
Yes.
it doesn't.
Unless it's mithril.
Yeah.
I have a medium breastplate right now. It doesn't give me disadvantage to stealth.
Well, maybe
I
look
think
up
heavy
chain
tends to.
Heavy definitely does.
Oh.
I think
Half
like a
plate sure
breastplate
does.
or just a shirt doesn't, but
That could be.
I have marked off the 3,500 gold on my sheet to buy out all of those healing potions.
Okay.
We can
love that.
divvy them up at a later point, but I have them all in my sheet in one of the.
But I'm sure since we've got that +3, then you could like pay to get it like enchanted. To like
That's true.
use that, whatever funds that you were gonna pay for it, use it to get it. I don't know,
Okay, so for a
like a
chain
spell
shirt,
storing or
chain shirt is medium armor.
Mm-hmm.
It does not give disadvantage to stealth.
Mhm.
The AC on it is 13 plus up to 2 for your dex mod, but only up to 2.
My dex mod is a 2, so. Okay. If nobody else wants the +3 chain shirt, I will take it, and I will take my money back from Kenneth.
Yeah.
Because if I'd realized that was a thing, I wouldn't have.
Mhm.
If the GM is okay with that.
The GM is okay with that because you
Okay.
had the loot that you guys would have been going through before
Yeah.
shopping. So yeah, you're
Okay.
I'm just going through the hordes right now, and
Yeah. No.
I would love to get better armor, but
Hey, you want to? Never mind.
I don't have any attunement slots open.
are we giving the Tome of Clear Thought to Barca?
I think that was the intention.
Yes.
He's gonna have to take time to read the fucking thing. But
What's
That's
it
on
in?
you.
What's the tome written in? Common? God, can Barker even read common?
really good question.
I'm sorry, give me just a brief moment.
That's why he's going to be, as is part of Barca's tutoring lessons.
Can it be tome on tape? Is that an option?
Audible.
I feel like that's absolutely permissible.
Gavin is his narrator, his audible narrator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then if Gavin reads it to Barker,
if I read it though, do I get the benefit of it? 'Cause I don't want that for me. I want that for him.
It's a magic tome, so it'll probably shift to whatever language you can read.
Which
That's fair.
is some giant probably at this point.
Giant or goblin.
All of a sudden, it's like all in pictures. Like, whoa!
It's a picture. Yeah, that I could see. I suppose I never. Yeah, I would imagine common.
All right, so the Tome of Clear Thought is yours. It will take some time to get through, so you're not going to get the benefits of it right away.
Doesn't it take like a week or something?
Yeah.
It's a sustained number of hours reading within a specific time frame.
Yep.
Ember, what armor do you have right now?
+1 studded leather.
I don't know if my +1 cast-off breastplate would be any better for you, but if you want it, you can have it.
I don't
Can
know,
only be
medium-
light armor.
Medium armor? Yeah.
Oh, it can only be light armor. Okay. Never mind. Hey, boss, can I sell this?
I mean,
I'm
otherwise,
asking Brian.
I mean,
Or
What?
try to
Or does that is there anybody else on Zaya that could wear it or use it? Like, can
wear a
Nikali use it?
breastplate.
Yeah.
Nikali can't, but Kaladin probably could.
If he doesn't already have something, yeah, he can take it. That's fine.
Okay, so what is it?
It's +1 +1. Words are hard. Cast off armor breastplate.
You know, it's the breastplate with the Velcro.
Yeah, Kaladin would happily take it because Kaladin.
No, snaps.
Snaps.
Kaladin
It's tearaway breastplate.
has no magic armor, so that would work out well.
Excellent. I give that to Kaladin.
He thanks
Looking
you.
at the splint armor right now to see if
Actually, when you hand it over, he's like, "Didn't know you cared," and gives you kind of that wink, and then kind of looks over at Gavin, and then just kind of goes back.
I
to
wink
his
back and smack him on the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Seems appropriate for Rhiannon.
That works. That works.
My AC is now a 19, and I'm stupid excited.
Oh, Amber, so squishy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna take that splint armor +2.
Is splint armor medium armor?
Oh, that might be heavy, and I might not be able to wear it.
Splint mail?
Hang on, no,
I've got it up. I'm just not looking at the right page. Oh, it's heavy armor. I can't wear it.
Damn. All right.
Just keep the equipment page open. We're talking all sorts of stuff.
Okay, never mind.
I will assume that you guys also help the goblins get kitted out because I'm spending their money to upgrade some of their stuff.
Absolutely.
And since they're not going balls out, their stuff is like +1, which is relatively cheap to get.
Does Gavin have any more attunement slots open?
I have one.
You want an ion stone of absorption?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Take an ion stone of absorption. Because I have too many items and not enough stuff. Okay.
Unless anybody wants the splint mail, we might as well sell it.
Yeah, if nobody can do heavy armor.
Not heavy.
Nope, no, yeah. None
I
of the
can,
NPCs.
but it's not overly beneficial.
Yeah.
Okay, then I guess we...
You attempt to sell that?
Yep.
Okay. We'll deal with that in a moment. Any last minute things? I guess we can kind of work off stream too, as far as the last tidbits. But you guys are pretty much doing the shopping spree. So
I will go back to the ship and let everybody know that I bought a base of operations here in Sharn. I did. The Matter and Skyhold. Skyway.
Rhiannon just kind of blinks at him like, you went house shopping?
Yes.
No, house purchasing. He purchased it.
I mean, technically I went shopping first and then purchased.
So
as
you're
of
both
next
correct?
week, there will be a private tower that we can dock Zaya at as well.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
no. Well, yeah, private. Yeah. Sorry. A private estate with a docking tower.
Yes.
Does it have a jacuzzi? Can it
Well
have a
spent? It fucking better.
hot tub? Excellent.
Sauna.
Okay. I will also
Sauna.
I will try to, just as a side note, give some money to my parents.
Okay.
Meredith.
And Aunt Meredith.
Okay.
Like, I don't know how much. Like, maybe like 100 platinum each. Just be like, here, take some money. Have some money.
Okay. They will take some money.
Because I feel like Lyria is gonna need some shit.
Since you have your mom and dad's things just kind of noted on
Oh, right. Yeah, I do have that, don't I?
their thing for now. So you return to the ship, and as everyone is kitted out with all sorts of purchases and whatnot, and doodads, and even the goblins are kitted out in slightly magical weapons and gear. Because your crew's going to be armed very well. And you get back, and Amaya, as the longboat kind of docks into place, you hear a voice in your head that you have not heard for a while now. And it catches you a little bit off guard as you hear Valdraya's voice in your head say, "Daughter, we need to talk now." And that's where we'll leave it for today. Nice little cliffhanger.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
You're in trouble. Did you forget to clean your room before you leave?
You're in trouble. So we'd like to say thank you all for joining us. We appreciate your patience with our shopping episode, but you know, they killed 3 fucking huge dragons. They're gonna spend some money. But we thank you all for joining us, and we will hopefully, I don't know, check the schedule as far as when this airs, because we're still doing a couple of recorded sessions, but we should be getting back on track eventually to kind of going back into the live.
My genuine hope is that this is the last pre-recorded thing, and we'll be going back live again after this.
So cross fingers and toes. Is there and double check, is you posted on double check Twitch and Discord, I believe is.
Yeah, I'll be posting when this goes live on the Blind GM socials, on Discord, and that sort of thing. So just pay attention to the socials; you'll find it.
And Do we want to any other things we want to announce then before we sail off for today?
Got
I
a
don't
couple
know.
things in the works, but I'm not ready to talk about them yet.
That's fair. That's fair. Kit, do you want to mention your stuff real quick?
Sure. So, as you may or may not know from watching streams here before, I am Kit, the Seven-Tailed Fox. I have my own channel on Twitch, which is Seven-Tailed Fox, Tale, like the stories, because that's what we like to collect. We play games that have really good stories in them. We play games where we get to create our own fun and fantastic stories, like Sea of Thieves. I am going to be trying to play a lot more Sea of Thieves recently with the new updates. Depending on how much time between the recording and airing, that may or may not still be the case. We'll see. But feel free to come join us, share a story, share some chill vibes. We'd love to see you in the stream. Have you share a story with us.
There you go.
All right.
And I think, unless anyone else has got anything,
I think that's it.
all right. Well, thank you again, everybody, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
See you in a hot minute.
That too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.